I'm lying. Waiting on some people get in the room. Like, share, subscribe. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. Also, shout out to my new subscribers. We hit 500. I'm so happy. Thank you. What time you work tomorrow? What job is this? Okay. Waiting on some people to get in the room. Okay, okay. Ice, ice, baby. Doom, 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 doom. Ice, ice, baby. Doom, 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 doom. That was my jam. Mm, 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 mm. I support ice. Doom, 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 doom. I don't know how the flies got in here. I think it's in the bathroom. Or it's under the sink. Ice, ice, baby. Boom, 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 boom. All right, well, let's see what's going on. Immigrant arrest surge to 10,000 in 5 days in ICE clapdowns. That's New York Times, and I'm not buying that article. They get on my nerves. So ICE arrests 10,000 in 5 days. A sharp late June surge in Trump's deportation push. Immigration and Customs Enforcement arrested 10,000 people over a 5 day period at the end of June, marking a major push by the agency tasked with carrying out Trump's deportation plan. Hey, Dum. Hey, Kayla, how y'all doing? The arrest numbers are obtained from a person familiar with information who spoke anonymously to discuss data that has not been publicly released. Comes after the agency shifted its approach from high-profile arrest sweeps in major American cities to quieter ways to reach President Trump's deportation goals. The figures indicate that while the administration is no longer cracking down on individual cities, the arrests continue and are surging. Hey, Raji. The total number of arrests during the 5 day period starting Friday and ending Tuesday translate into roughly 2,000 arrests per day. It was not clear where the arrests have taken place. That's right, no bail. Get the fuck out. The spike in arrests was first reported by the New York Times. Since day one, Department of Homeland Security law enforcement has been delivering on President Trump's promise to the American people to arrest and deport criminal illegal aliens, including murderers, rapists, pedophiles, gang members, and terrorists, said the Department of Homeland Security in a statement. Our message is clear. If you come to our country illegally, we will find you, we will arrest you, and we will deport you. Absolutely. That's what I voted for. Absolutely. Go make your own damn country better. Because we don't owe you shit. You ain't put $1 in this country. Coming here, we don't owe you a damn thing. Well, it looks like in Texas, ICE made a mistake and they arrested a nun. Texas nun released after ICE arrest in Texas sparked national outrage. A Catholic nun was detained by U.S. Immigration Custom Enforcement officers walking to Sunday Mass in South Texas has been released. Sister Letitia Uboya was detained. Let me see, do we got a picture of her? She was detained June 28th as she walked to Our Lady of Sorrows Church in McAllen to attend Mass. According to Catholic Diocese of Brownsville, the incident quickly gained national attention across Texas as parishioners, members of Southern Texas congressional delegation, and advocacy organizations expressed concern that a nun dressed in her habit and headed to worship had been taken into custody. The bishop of Diocese of Brownsville said he was grateful Ubogia has been released, but noted that significant questions remain about the circumstances surrounding her detention. For now, it is clear that Homeland Security enforcement protocols that make it possible for a religious sister or anyone to be detained and handcuffed while peacefully walking to church. The Diocese of Brownsville said Ujaba is part of the Daughters of Mary Mother of Mercy congregation, which is headquartered in Nigeria. She volunteers as extraordinary minister of the Holy Communion at Our Lady of Sorrows Church and is registered nurse at South Texas Health Systems Allen Medical. So is she from Nigeria? So is she a citizen? Before volunteer at the church, Uboga worked for a decade as a certified nursing assistant at DHR Health in Edinburgh, Texas. In a post on Facebook, Our Lady of Sorrows Church asked parishioners to pray for her. We pray for her safety, peace, and strength during this difficult time. We hope for a swift, just resolution that allows her to be released soon. The diocese said it's continued to gather information on the circumstances. Mm. As word of her detention spread, members of the Southern Texas congressional delegation called for her release. Representative Monica De La Cruz, a Republican, said June 28 her office was working with DHS to secure her release. As I have repeatedly said, our immigration enforcement should target violent criminals. A Catholic nun on her way to church is not a threat to our community. Later that day, De La Cruz announced that Uboja will be released after discussions with Homeland Secretary Markwayne Mullin, which he also criticized her arrest. After community, I'm pleased to share that Sister Letty is on her way home. The order has been given for her to be released today instead of tomorrow and should be home tonight. Well, damn, they shouldn't have arrested a nun, even though she. So ICE is arresting illegals. They did 10,000 in these 5 day span. Madison police confirms man apprehended by ICE in Wisconsin. The arrest happened at Little Big Low Laundromat on Todd Drive, where witnesses reported two or three unidentified men were apprehended more than an hour before the call was made to police. Police said they reviewed video where they apprehended a man and left the property. Madison police were not requested to respond or inform of the apprehension. So he was detained by ICE. Well, they everywhere. Shit, they here in Detroit. They cleaning up. Southwest Detroit is an area where the Mexicans, Latinos mainly live in Southwest Detroit, and ICE been throwing down over there. So, four detained by ICE in Iowa after Congress approved 70 billion for enforcement. Let me see what else going on. Appeals court sharply limits ICE massive expansion of detention. A federal appeals court has sharply curtailed ICE's high to detain thousands of people without bond under dramatic expansions of mandatory detention for immigrants. The 2-1 ruling of the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals concluded that people detained by ICE while awaiting the outcome of their deportation proceedings under Trump's administration must be afforded a bond hearing within 90 days. Anything less would be a violation of their constitutional rights. How the fuck? They don't have constitutional rights. You're not a legal citizen. You get some level of due process, but you're not a citizen, so you should not get any constitutional rights. You wasn't born here. You walked in a jungle to get here. The panel emphasized that the vast majority of people targeted under the new policy were people without criminal records. All of you need to go, whether you got a criminal record or not. Go home, make your own shit better. Therefore, not dangerous to their communities whose established lives in the country made them unlikely to flee their immigration proceedings. The minimal risk of affording the process, they said, undercut the administration's push to detain en masse. You know what? You don't know. If they know that they're going to be deported, how you know they won't flee if they don't want to leave? These challenges are rooted in July 2025 policy shift by ICE, which it reinterpreted 30-year-old laws requiring the detention without bond of people apprehended crossing the border or soon after. Under ICE's new view, which was not adopted by any prior administration, that mandatory detention would be applied to people apprehended in the interior of the country as well. The result was a flood of emergency lawsuits all over the country. Yeah, I know. I know. Thank you. All over the shit. You made me lose my thought. Oh, lawsuits all over the country for people subjected to mandatory detention. Judges nationwide have overwhelmingly rebuked the policy as illegal and unconstitutional, with the fight likely to reach the Supreme Court. Rejections of the Trump administration's detention policy have fueled the vast majority of more than 14,300 rulings against ICE detentions. The ruling is likely to reverberate quickly into thousands of cases brought by ICE detainees in Texas who have challenged their detention and until now have been denied bond. All right, let's get into some of these videos. We starting with Texas. Ice, ice, baby. Doom, 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 doom. Ice, ice, baby. Breaking news out of Dallas, Texas. This is Larry with Larry. That the shooting of people at an ICE facility in Dallas is yet another example of radical left-wing violence, including messages inscripted on bullet casings. Again, we're going to give you all those details and show you everything that we know as of now. And by the way, while that shooting was taking place, like within moments of that shooting taking place,
Hillary Clinton sat on the set of Morning Joe and doubled down on the heated rhetoric, accusing Trump of being an authoritarian and being a dictator, and all the same fascist garbage talk that continues to lead people to take up arms and try to kill whoever disagrees with them. We're going to give you all those details, show you what Hillary Clinton said coming up in just a moment. Plus, the big return of Jimmy Kimmel. We'll break down his non-apology.
Let's get to it.
Law, which they are not. Federal law enforcement can do that if their superiors allow them to do it for good reason and for credible threats. And there is nothing illegal about that, especially if you're carrying out your duties under a lawful command and in compliance with federal law. Not one incident or complaint about a federal law enforcement official, ICE or otherwise, concealing their face lest they go viral, has been provided that has validated this concern that there are people operating outside of the law. Every single agent, you may not like the look of it, and I understand people not liking the look of it, but every single ICE agent who is carrying out their duty via lawful command from their direct superior or concealing their face are acting under the cover of the Constitution and their due authority.
Facts.
And when asked to identify themselves, the people that they are obliged to identify themselves to do get their identification. Some random person on the street saying, tell me who you are, what's your name, you don't have the right to demand their identification, nor do they provide it to you. But all of the rhetoric and all of the obscene language used about federal law enforcement officers who are carrying out their duty and finally actually enforcing the law that Congress has passed, well, I think it's led to these violent attacks against them. And it's the politicians who are to blame. Think about every single Democrat in the Senate or in the House of Representatives who are screaming about ICE agents doing their job. They are literally enforcing the laws that those very same Democrats in the House and the Senate have passed into law.
Facts.
They pass
Facts.
Law enforcement enforces the law, and then they scream at law enforcement and
Facts.
demonize them,
Facts.
put them in harm's way.
Absolutely.
That's what's going on here, folks. And if those Democrats in the House and the Senate don't like the laws that are being enforced, gee, I've got an idea. How about proposing a change to those laws? But of course, they won't do that because they know they will lose their next election.
Absolutely.
So instead,
Facts. Facts.
The cops for enforcing their laws, and then we see what happens today. Senator Ted Cruz of Texas was on the scene, and he gave some remarks to the media as well.
This needs to stop. Violence is wrong. Politically motivated violence is wrong. It was 2 weeks ago today that we saw a political assassination in Utah that tore the heart out of much of this country. This is the third shooting in Texas directed at ICE or CBP.
Right.
This must stop. To every politician who is using rhetoric, demonizing ICE and demonizing CBP, stop. To every politician demanding that ICE agents be doxxed and calling for people to go after their families, stop. This has very real consequences. Look, in America, we disagree. That's fine. That's the democratic process. But your political opponents are not Nazis.
Facts. Facts.
We need to learn to work together without demonizing each other, without attacking each other. And I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the brave men and women of law enforcement. I want to say thank you to the brave men and women of ICE and CBP and everyone who puts their lives on the line to keep us safe. The divisive rhetoric tragically has real consequences. I hope that every one of us will pray. Number one, for the safety of law enforcement that are risking their lives to keep us safe. Number two, for the health of those who were shot and injured today. We still don't know the full details of who was injured, but for the families also of the victims of this shooting. Violence has no place. It is wrong. And we should come together. If we want to have a debate about immigration policies, we can do so in the halls of Congress without demonizing each other, and especially without demonizing the men and women who every day put on a badge and go risk their lives to keep us safe. And we should not be putting language out there that inspires madmen to commit evil crimes. Our prayers are with the men and women of law enforcement, and we ought to come together and have some decency across the political aisle to say this violence is wrong and it needs to stop.
All right, now those are great words from Senator Cruz.
Facts. We won't be listening to all of that because that's like an hour video. Dallas ICE facility.
We just got confirmed the three people that were shot were apparently in ICE custody. We were told a white male was shooting at detainees from a rooftop, that the suspect shot
Hey, what happened?
himself when approached by law enforcement. Pass on some more information. We just got confirmed the three people that were shot were apparently in ICE custody. We were told a white male was shooting at detainees from a rooftop, that the suspect shot himself when approached by law enforcement. Pass on some more information. We just got confirmed
So that happened in Dallas, Texas. So he
pass on some more information.
So he was shooting at detainees.
Pass on some more information.
Hold on, let me get rid of that. I'm trying to delete this video. And then I want to delete. Damn, where'd it go? Yeah, we're going to delete that file. Okay. I need to move this, so just give me a moment. Oh, damn. Okay.
This is what DEA agents saw when they stopped a tractor trailer in Brooklyn. Boxes and boxes full of papayas. But they say that's not the only thing the semi was carrying.
How much is all this worth? So this is, in totality, approximately $1 million worth of methamphetamine.
Hold on, I need to delete this. Damn, I need to get rid of all this. Why would I put that in this folder? That is insane.
Get in here. This is shocking news. And I'm not talking about ICE detaining these phony Native Americans, right? Or some Mexicans or Filipinos. I'm not talking about that, right? I'm not talking about ICE detaining them. Look what they've been doing secretly since we've been opening up our mouth. Go ahead and take a screenshot. But in case you haven't heard, and you know Getty is on the scene. A significant number of Native American tribes, basically over 80% of them, have engaged in disenrollment. Why y'all doing this to yourself? I thought y'all was the real Indians. Why y'all running? Why is y'all getting rid of these people? Why is y'all running? Don't run that. No, don't run that. And then they call it.
So I said her tribal ID was not real. Well, that's not true.
Federal agents have exposed a major cartel breach inside Michigan's largest airport, Keene, led by the airport director herself. President Trump gave us one mission: make America safe again. And we will not sit idly by and let these drug dealers continue to do business, run roughshod on our neighborhoods.
Something was deeply wrong inside Michigan's largest airport, but for months,
I don't know why I got these videos over here.
nobody could see it. Cargo logs did.
Okay, I need to move them too. Let's get to this.
If you come into this country illegally, you have committed a crime. And so when you do that, we have to go through and follow the law.
Getting new data on immigration and customs enforcement, it shows that the number of immigrant detainees without criminal records has grown exponentially since the start of the second Trump administration.
More than 2,000 illegal migrants have been arrested inside U.S. immigration courts in a new ICE blitz that grabs people the moment they step out of their hearings.
In fact, non-criminal ICE detainees arrested by that agency, that number, Mugo, has grown by more than 2,000% since January.
Would you say the ultimate goal of Operation Midway Blitz is to scare people across the country so that they do self-deport?
We had over 400 operations that went down in those first 43 days of the Homeland Security Task Force in operation.
Judges dismiss the cases. Migrants think they're walking out free, and ICE agents waiting in the hallway move in with cuffs and expedited removal orders. Courthouses that activists sold as safe zones are now the front line of Trump's immigration crackdown.
But as they decide to surge additional operations, they may focus on still predators, criminals that have been released from the jail and not turned over to ICE.
Join us as we break down how this courthouse trap works, who it's targeting, and why it's turning immigration courts into political war zones.
Get on the ground. Now, on the ground. All right, but you're not on the ground. All right, hold on. All right. Hey, what you guys doing? That's not how you arrest people.
The operation is systematic and smart. ICE attorneys create target lists before hearings. They mark cases ready for dismissal. They identify people without lawyers, people who entered alone, people who must appear in person. Government prosecutors inside courtrooms coordinate with ICE to identify targets. A New York Times report reveals this coordination through a leaked government memo. This is federal agencies finally working together to enforce the law. Chicago Immigration Court. ICE agents position themselves in waiting areas where illegals sit before hearings. They huddle around video screens that courtroom guards use to monitor proceedings. Some agents dress casually. They pose as court watchers and tip off other agents the instant a case gets dismissed.
I was sitting there looking for flights to go home, and I was taken. They were like, we have to detain you.
I was under arrest.
With no explanation.
If the judge didn't dismiss the case, they couldn't arrest these individuals. If they're trying.
You know you in the country legally. You go to immigration court. You should know why you being detained. That's dumb.
You reach a quota every day. It's a lot easier to pick up people at court.
Between May and July 2025, ICE filed over 6,600 motions to dismiss in immigration courts nationwide. Over 80% were made orally instead of in writing. This violates standard immigration court procedures requiring written motions. Immigration judges granted 86% of oral motions the same day. This denies people their 10-day period to respond. Nearly 80% of same-day oral motions were approved, allowing ICE to immediately place people into expedited removal.
The government has said that they've managed to reduce the backlog from about 4.2 million to 3.8 million cases, which is still mind-boggling. For only 600 judges nationwide.
Van Nuys Immigration Court in Los Angeles received 217 oral motions to dismiss. Judges granted 215 immediately. That is a 99% approval rate. Atlanta W. Peachtree Immigration Court had 193 oral motions filed by ICE. Every single one was granted on the spot. New York Federal Plaza resisted. ICE filed 268 oral motions. Judges granted only 77. That is 29%. The disparities are extreme. Your fate depends on which courthouse handles your case.
Trying to find ways to deport as many people, even if these people were here
Los Angeles and Atlanta judges rubber stamped.
Not if you were here legally, no.
Once arrested, people go into expedited removal. This is fast-track deportation, no guaranteed right to a hearing. 5-year ban on attempting to return.
About 26% of the detainees did have criminal charges. Another 26% had criminal convictions, but the data does not specify the severity.
Hundreds of Homeland Security officials will help carry out this operation, but some city and state leaders say they don't want it.
On September 2025, the Department of Homeland Security launches Operation Midway Blitz in Chicago, named after Katie Abraham, a 20-year-old woman with her whole life ahead of her, killed in January in a drunk driving hit and run involving an illegal immigrant who should have been deported years earlier. Katie would still be alive if immigration laws had been enforced. Her death was preventable. Her death was the result of sanctuary city policies protecting criminals over American citizens.
Leo Bull is also involved in a federal case right now. Abraham tells me he hopes more jail time is added on when that trial is over.
Federal agents from ICE, Customs, and Border Protection, and other agencies flood the city to ensure no more Katies die because politicians refuse to enforce the law.
People have done everything improperly, and these are the folks we're standing behind while good kids like Katie are sacrificed.
Between June 11th and October 7th, 2025, ICE arrests over 3,000 people in the Chicago area. The numbers escalate rapidly. From early September through mid-October, average daily book-ins to temporary detention facilities in Chicago increase from about 3 people per day without additional criminal records to more than 45, a jump of more than 1,400%.
I mean, you've seen the violence in Chicago. It gets pretty hairy out there. We're glad to have those troops here supporting.
DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin makes it clear. ICE arrests murderers, predators, and drug traffickers every day. Secretary Noam is delivering on the president's mandate to remove criminal illegal aliens from the country. This is about making America safe again, nationwide. In October 2025, ICE arrests 36,635 people of the 65,730.
Hey, G-Man, what's up?
Detention. As of November 30, 48,377 have no criminal conviction. That is 73.6%. Many of those convicted committed only minor offenses, including traffic violations, but they all broke federal immigration law.
This is what we asked for, and this is why we voted for President Trump.
Every single person in ICE custody violated American sovereignty. The fact that they have not yet murdered or assaulted someone does not make them law-abiding. They are criminals who thought they could hide in America forever.
It seems that they're targeting people who have been in the United States for under 2 years because they're able to put them in expedited removal proceedings instead of waiting for the entire process to reach the end.
This whole operation, for the last 2 months, the terrorizing of our neighborhoods, the brutalizing of people here has all been unlawful.
In November 2025, U.S. District Judge Jeffrey Cummings in Chicago sided with criminals over Americans. He examined Operation Midway Blitz and claimed ICE violated a 2022 agreement limiting warrantless arrests.
I was never in the country illegally.
I did not come here illegally.
Let's take it from there.
Then he ordered 615 illegals released back onto Chicago streets.
If you walked across the jungle and went through 5,000 countries to get here and crossed that border, you're here illegally. The fuck?
615 people ICE arrested are now free, walking around, working jobs Americans need, all because one judge decided the law does not apply.
And as President Trump himself said in a cabinet meeting last week, there are over 11,000 people who are in this country undocumented who do have homicide convictions who have still not been arrested.
ICE initially flagged 16 people as high public safety risks. The government caved to pressure and dropped all but one to low or medium threat. Then November 19th, Homeland Security suddenly expanded the list to 39 high-risk people. With no explanation, liberal judges forced this bureaucratic chaos while dangerous people slipped through. Colorado Judge R. Brooke Jackson banned ICE from making warrantless arrests. He claimed agents must first evaluate if someone is a flight risk. ICE finds an illegal with a deportation order, someone who already ignored the law. And this judge says, evaluate flight risk first, they already fled. That is the risk. Caroline Diaz.
Facts. That is the risk.
Pulled over for tailgating. The deputy discovered her violation. ICE detained her. Judge Jackson ordered her released and returned to pre-arrest status. The judge told ICE to pretend they never found her. Judicial activism replacing law enforcement.
Yes, Gonzalez says they put her into a cell with 24 beds, some tables, and a couple of TVs and showers, and she was only able to make calls about once a day. She's now back home with an ICE-issued ankle monitor and no clear timeline for when it will come off.
ICE collateral arrests jumped detention from 800 under Biden to 16,000 under Trump. That is 20 times more enforcement, but judges call it unconstitutional. Field Director Cesar Espinosa admitted calls. How is that unconstitutional when you're not even a citizen? Come on now. How is that unconstitutional when you're not a citizen? Oh, I'm moving this stuff. Hold on a moment. Oh, excuse me. Doggone it. Okay, let me delete that. Are you deleting that? What is this?
ICE agents said they were serving a warrant on a Cuban national in this apartment complex, and then they said that motherfucker ran over one agent, and that motherfucker kept on going, and then all of a sudden he hit 3-4 cars in the parking lot. And another agent said that motherfucker got out the car and told dude to freeze, and dude ended up hitting him and putting him on the hood of the car, which the officer aimed the motherfucking weapon and discharged that motherfucker, popping at the motherfucking suspect. And then they said that motherfucker got out the car and ran into the apartment building where ICE agents followed him inside the building and drug him out by his motherfucking feet. He lucky they didn't put him to sleep.
Right.
Man! ICE agents said they were serving a warrant.
I mean, these people have been acting insane. You know you here illegally. I would be self-deporting. I'd get that $2,100 and take my ass back home. Now, that's what I would be doing. I'd be getting the hell out of America and taking my ass right back home.
Hello?
Is there a reason you're following us?
No, we're just...
You lost?
Yeah, we're a little lost.
I don't care if you record. This is your one warning. If you follow us again, we're going to stop you. We're going to break your window, and we're going to rip you out and arrest you, okay?
All right.
This is your one warning.
Yeah, can I ask you a few questions, though? Can I ask you a few questions, though? What the fuck? Oh, hell no. Bro, they literally just threatened to rip me out of our car and rip me out of the car. What the fuck?
First you call them weirdos while you're
Right.
them around.
Absolutely.
Then you say you're lost? Yeah, bro gives you a warning before he busts your fucking window and tears you out of your fucking car. How about stop impeding on federal officers'
Exactly.
investigations? Put your white liberal woman privilege card back in your fucking purse and go find a fucking job. Do something productive with your life.
Exactly.
Hello?
I like how he handled that. Oh, shit.
ICE arrest happened at Salt Lake City Airport. The New York Times found that this arrest and others was a result of this new, quiet partnership between TSA and ICE. I only came to realize that this partnership existed when I began to investigate the arrest of a 19-year-old student who was picked up at Boston Logan Airport, and I found that her arrest was as a result of this quiet program. So, how is TSA helping ICE? How effective has it been? And how is this affecting travelers? So, DHS said that ICE is sending a list of individuals with deportation orders, people that they want to find and arrest, to the TSA. TSA is then using that list to see if any of those people are flying on a given day. If they are, that information is forwarded to ICE. And from there, they can find them, arrest them, and then quickly deport them. This information is easily shared because ICE and TSA both fall under the same agency, the Department of and Security. So how effective has this been? We do not know the wider scale of this partnership. We spoke with a former ICE official who said that in one region in the United States, they had about 100 to 200 leads over the summer. They were able to arrest around 75% of those individuals. If ICE is getting several leads a day across the United States, the impact could be widespread. Now, how does this affect travelers? So passengers should be aware that these arrests can more often happen as they are traveling in United States airports across the country. The Department of Homeland Security told me recently that the only time somebody who's in the country illegally should be flying is when they're flying home. This ICE arrest.
I agree. I agree. Yup. The only time you should be at airport is when you flying home. Absolutely. Okay, let me get to some new stuff. Okay, this was all this old stuff. Let me delete that. Oh, shit. Danye, turn that down. Close your door. Damn. Okay, here we go.
An update this evening on the downtown LA No Kings protest, which was mostly peaceful yesterday until the very end. The LAPD now says there were no major problems until they issued a dispersal order about...
Okay, so that is the local news saying that the No Kings protest in Los Angeles, number 3, was mostly peaceful until the very end, when it wasn't mostly peaceful. Which would probably explain why this headline says 75 people arrested following No Kings protest in downtown Los Angeles, police say. So in this video, we're going to be covering what exactly occurred at the downtown Los Angeles area around this federal building. And real quick, before we start, make sure to please like the video. It helps out a ton. And if you are new here, we cover events like this every single day and federal operations around the United States. So make sure to please subscribe so you guys don't miss a thing.
An update this evening on the downtown LA No Kings protest, which was mostly peaceful yesterday until the very end. The LAPD now says there were no major problems until they issued a dispersal order about 5:30 yesterday evening. Now, in this video, you can see protesters throwing rocks, concrete, and bottles. Federal officers then retaliated with tear gas canisters back into the crowd. LAPD says they arrested 75 people near Alameda and Temple. 66 of the people arrested were adults. Wow. 8 of them, we're told, were minors.
And don't worry, we will be watching the raw footage very soon. But something that really stood out to me was the wording used to describe how federal agents were pushing back protesters. Using the wording retaliation, you guys can let me know how you feel about that. I also want to ask you guys a question. How many of you actually heard the amount of people that got arrested?
Right.
A lot of you already saw some of
that part. This is T. Sply. I love him.
And just to give credit, that video was posted by Julio Rosas, who, by the way, did a really good job at the No Kings Protest 3.0.
Let's get to the end.
Be surprised, because when you do go back and look through the records as far as this happening, also keep in mind, at this point, all of this has been declared unlawful, which is why people are starting to get arrested. As if, in my opinion, I think the LA... That has really become, I think, a term in 2020.
Y'all keep attacking ICE agents. If you want illegals here, put them in your house. You feed them, take care of them, find them a job. You do that. Not for me. I ain't giving them nothing. Oh, shoot. Oh, it must be gone. Okay, let me delete that.
Anti-ICE lunatic harasses ICE officers at the airport and gets what she deserves.
So I'm here at JFK Airport, and there's a ton of ICE agents who are allegedly here to help. We know they're not, so I'm just going to go ask them a question. Let's see what they say.
Just mind your business, lady.
I just want to say thank you guys for being here, because I know when I wake up in the morning, I'll never be racist pigs like you. No matter how bad I am, I'll never be like you. So good job. I hope your moms are real proud of you. They were cute, weren't they? I hope they continue to be best, like Melania be best, because they are being the best at being the worst. So, sit down.
Turns out she's a doctor at Kaiser Permanente. And Kaiser has responded with, "We've been made aware of these videos and are reviewing the matter. We expect all contracted care providers, just as we do employees and physicians, to uphold our standards of respect and professionalism and do not condone behavior inconsistent with those values." Something tells me she's not going to be a doctor at Kaiser for very long.
Right.
Oh, for more political crack, anti-ICE lunatic.
Absolutely.
Gracias al informe del Congreso norteamericano sabemos ya cuáles son las operaciones de desinformación, censura e injerencia que hay aquí en Europa centralizadas por Bruselas. Por eso no debe extrañar las mentiras y las tonterías que se oyen en Europa.
So what he's saying, the lies and everything that was been heard in Europe from the left in the state of Minnesota against federal government as kind of a Trump Gestapo, that ICE actually was created in response to 9/11.
Hasta 57 muertos, que no salieron ni siquiera las noticias locales.
Anyway, this
Hoy bajo
Prime Minister is agreeing with Trump. That's what that video is.
Asking the police to arrest ICE agents for doing their job is treason, and it shouldn't be tolerated.
Why isn't CPD arresting ICE agents? The answer to that question is, I would turn everyone to what is called a supremacy clause.
Exactly.
The supremacy clause is a federal law that prohibits states from interfering with federal agents when they're engaging in their duties.
Fact.
This prohibits local police officers from arresting ICE agents or engaging when they're in the form of their duties. What are we talking about? We're talking about what a violation
Number one, federal law supersedes state and local law. That was dumb, and people actually believe that your local could call the police. Like, what they gonna do? What they gonna do? Nothing. Not a damn thing. ICE put off a sneaky mass ploy in Minnesota, tricking dozens of illegals into coming to the DMV to renew their CDLs. And they arrested them all. Hopefully, half of them, they should be deported. I'm sure they were.
You don't have to talk. I'm just pressed. What's your opinion on this, on ICE? On deportations? Bad? ICE is bad? Well, people doing their thing, going to work, going to school, dropping off kids.
Hey, King Mason.
Unless they're actually looking for criminals and See that? You said that was a lady, right? Yeah. So you feel bad because the lady, she just dropped her kids off at school. I just dropped off my kids too. I know, it breaks your heart, right? Yeah. She's a child pornographer. Okay. Taking porno pictures of her kids and distributing them on WhatsApp. Think,
well, that's differently. I would think differently. Yeah.
Well, that's what we did with her. And then this morning we went after an MS-13 member who aggravated kidnapping and aggravated robbery. That's who ICE is going after. You still think it's bad? No. I don't think that's bad. Yeah. That's what they're doing. Let me ask you. You don't have to talk. I'm just pressed. What's your opinion on this, on ICE? On deportations?
Right. Who want them people in their neighborhood bad enough? We got American criminals.
4:30 in the morning here in Miami, Florida, heading out with Miami ICE.
Oh, shit.
4:30 in the morning here in Miami, Florida, heading out with Miami ICE. God bless ICE. God bless America. With the support that we get from the state and from the governor, we're leading an immigration race. Last month alone, the Miami field office arrested 3,296 criminals.
All right, King, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
These people out there protesting and marching against ICE, what would your message be to them? This shows in reality what ICE does on an everyday, to-day basis. We target criminal aliens and we try to remove the worst of the worst out of the U.S. and send them back home. God bless Florida. God bless Texas. God bless every red state that puts America first. 4:30 in the morning.
And that's what ICE is doing. I support ICE.
The 28-year-old was held by DHS for nearly 2 days, taken from O'Hare here to Broadview, and then sent off to another facility
Detroit.
in Dodge County, Wisconsin.
Oh boy, someone might be in some.
This is T Sply. I love him. I love his channel.
That might be a potential lie, and this sheriff's office is not messing around.
Dodge County is not the place you want to make up a hoax about.
Okay, this sheriff's department brought the receipts. We're talking about a 45-minute press conference of pictures, statements, videos, geolocation, text messages. I think this sheriff's department really wants to let people know you don't mess with them and you don't lie about them. So, of course, we're going to dig into all of this, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think anyone saw this coming. So, buckle up for this video because we have a lot to cover. Now, real quick, if you guys can do me a big favor, I think people want to see what's going on here. Make sure to please like this video.
And flew back to Chicago Thursday morning. Sarah says instead of a routine return home, her sister and her colleague's journey ended in detention.
Okay, so keep in mind, there are many people who are affirming this story. And leave your comments down below. Let me know if you remembered when this happened. Because very early on, Homeland Security is like, hold on, this did not happen. And so did the Sheriff's Department early on. Everyone was denying this happened. But of course, there was a lot of pushback because here we have people saying, no, it did happen. This all happened.
The fact that this can happen to any U.S. citizen should terrify us all.
Family members say after more than a day of detention at O'Hare, Sonny's phone signal was tracked to the ICE facility in Broadview. That sparked a protest with family, community activists, and elected officials gathering outside demanding answers. But her family says federal authorities insisted she was not inside despite her phone's location. Hours later, at around 2 in the morning on Saturday, they say her phone turned back on. This time pinging from the Dodge ICE facility in Wisconsin.
Okay, so let me know if you guys do remember that story, but now I do want to show you very early on, again, DHS Sheriff's Department denies Skokie woman's claim she was held at O'Hare taken to ICE facility. There were denials up front, but at the beginning of this video, I said I don't think anyone saw this coming, because this is not the first time we've seen Homeland Security always say, this never happened, it's a media hoax. And basically, it's up to the public to decide how they feel about it. However, this is different. Now we actually have a sheriff's department saying, hold on, this is all completely fake. We have all of the receipts, all of the evidence, and we're going to bring this to court, and we can decide how we feel about it in court.
That's right, Cheryl. Today, the Dodge County Sheriff said Sundance Sonny Knockvie's story was made up, and he's demanding action accountability for what he calls lies.
Sundance Knockvie was not detained by ICE at any time. She was not transported to Broadview Detention Facility. She was not transported across state lines to Dodge County.
Okay, so right off the bat, he's also defending ICE. Keep in mind, this is the Sheriff's Department, and he's straight up saying, no, 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 none of this happened. Again, that's why I pointed out at the beginning of the video, you heard people say definitively, this is all allegedly. I want to put my disclaimer out there, but I mean, this is in public, guys. This is video footage of her walking around at the alleged time of her imprisonment, being detained.
Sheriff Schmidt says this isn't
according to the Sheriff's Department.
Knockvie's first time lying to law enforcement. Court records confirm a 2019 case in which Knockvie filed a false police report with Skokie PD, claiming she was sexually assaulted in a park. She pleaded guilty and did 2 years of probation, and the case was then dismissed. The sheriff personally suing Knockvie for her alleged defamatory claims against his office. The sheriff also suing Cook County Commissioner Kevin Morrison for defamation. Morrison held a press conference on behalf of Knockvie last month.
They asked for Sonny's phone number so they could search the facility for her phone.
Yeah, I forgot to mention this part. Let's go ahead and get to the press conference because the sheriff also goes in on this situation talking about the press conference.
We are going to go through it first before we make that publicly available. So the press conference had happened on March 8th. This was done by Cook County Commissioner Kevin Morrison. He was then a candidate for Congress. Since then, he lost the election, but this was in the few weeks leading right up to that election. This press conference included allegations of an illegal detention of a U.S. citizen, allegations of a government cover-up by federal authorities and the Dodge County Sheriff's Office, calls for a federal investigation, coordinated messaging designed to generate outrage and media attention. And there are 4 key takeaways that I want you to all have. This video is not evidence, and it is simply advocacy. The claims are unverified, uncorroborated, and misleading. It represents a manufactured narrative not established by fact, and extraordinary claims require verifiable evidence. That evidence, it does not exist.
Okay, so Kim Katie USA actually posted this on March 7th, 2026, and this is going to be the first...
So at the brunt of the story, she lied saying she was detained by ICE. They have video footage of her walking around the airport during that time that she was supposed to be detained. Like, share, subscribe, hit